Hello and welcome to part 2 of Keeping Those Summer Memories Alive. You're watching the Virtual Village Hall. I'm Rachel from I Printed That, and today I'm going to be showing you how to turn the handmade paper that we made last week like this. If you missed the session, then we will put a link in the comments so you can do that, but we're going to be turning that paper into our memory journals. So if you'd like to join me, then please get all your stuff together. It's all in the show notes above, but I will go through it as well, and let's get started. So you'll need your paper that we made last week. As I said, we will put a link in the comments so that you can do it in case you missed out on that one. But you can also use just normal paper from your craft box. I'm going to be using a mixture of both because I quite like the complementary colours of this bright pink with the pinks from my peonies that I did last week, and also just a plain one as well, because you might like to add some sketches into your books, that sort of thing. So here's one of the books that we're going to be making. It's just a very simple stitch book using a sewing machine. So you just run through those, what you need. You need your paper, you'll need scissors, you'll need a couple of bulldog clips. That's just going to keep those papers in place as we sew. And you'll also need a sewing machine, which I've got here. And that's basically it. It's a really quick, easy way to make little books. You can make them whatever size you want. I quite enjoy a small little book that you can kind of just keep in your pocket. If you want to take it out, do some sketching. It's a really nice size as well for adding like little tickets and that sort of thing from your summer adventures. So first thing to do is to decide on the size that you want. Mine is going to be roughly that size, so make sure each piece of paper that you take is double that size. And also to add in with this very textured feel, I've scrunched up the paper so that this paper will fit in. So I've done that with the pink paper. Let's just do that with the white paper. But you don't have to do this. It's total preference. I quite like a really kind of scrunched up natural look, but you might like yours very pristine, so you can even iron your handmade paper as well to make sure everything is pristine and neat and flat. So this is going to be my template piece of paper. I'm going to cut my other pieces of paper. So you can use a craft knife with this as well. If you find that easier, you could use a guillotine, or I'm just going to use scissors. And again, I don't really mind the odd paper being a piece of paper, the page being a little bit out, but you might like yours totally neat. So you might want to measure, use a set square. Entirely up to you. So if you're joining us this morning, hello, I hope you're really well. We are turning the paper that we made last week into our memory journals so that we can add all those lovely little memory souvenirs from the summer. So with this bit, I'm probably only going to get 2 pieces of this out here. So you might want to just have a look at any particular parts of your paper that you want to keep. So I do particularly like this bit, so we're going to make sure I include that. I might actually just use a ruler for this because I think I'm going to rip the paper if I'm not careful. There we go. And if you've managed to make some paper in the last week, please let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to, you can post photos as well. We always love to see your photos of what you've been creating at the Virtual Village Hall. Or just pop in the comments and say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you've got any questions at all, whether you're watching live or you're watching on record, then you can pop a question in the comment and I will get back to you. I'll have a look after the session so that I can answer all of those. That's our paper drawn out. Just need to cut. And it's lovely and thick, this paper, so you don't need like a cover. You can use these like a cardboard cover to your books. You can use these as the cover themselves, and they're remarkably strong. So you can really pull this paper about. And don't throw these bits away. You can use these within the book as some collage. And that keeps that theme of your memories running through the book, connecting all those pieces together. That's my paper cut, and I want to layer it up with the other piece of paper, making sure that this is the front piece, so this piece goes on at the sort of the bottom of the pile. And if you look, you will see a slight difference on your handmade paper. One side will be slightly more clearer than the other, so I'm going to use the clearer side as the outside. Then I can layer the other pieces up. Let's just see. Oh, that's quite nice actually. I quite like how that looks with the pink behind it. And I'm going to do another layer of pink. Then my white paper. Actually, no, I'm going to do. Let's do that one, yes, and then that one's my middle one. So there we go. So if you fold it, you can just see how your book is going to just flow there. Okay. So I've folded the middle piece. So that we've got a middle line, that's our spine. Sort of the template for our spine. And then just make sure all the pieces of paper line up. Again, I'm not too fussed sort of about them being sort of over. These bits will get trimmed anyway, so don't worry too much about those. Ooh. And then just using the bulldog clips or maybe pegs or just something to hold those together while we sew. Carefully put those at each end, and then I'm going to bring my sewing machine over and we're going to sew straight down that line. manoeuvre this so that you can see a bit better. So hopefully you can see that. Let's bring it in. Okay, I think that's good. I've just set my machine so I've got a straight stitch, and I've put it up to stitch size 4. So you can go quite large with this. You don't need to do a small stitch. With regards to the needle that you're using, so I do make quite a lot of these books, and I like sewing paper onto fabric and vice versa. So I've actually used a needle that I'd use just for paper because it will blunt your paper over time. So just bear that in mind. If you don't have a sewing machine, then you can use something like, I've got one here. So you can use something like this, just an awl, which is for making the holes right through the paper. So do everything that I've done up to this point, put the bulldog clips in, and then just working along the spine, just make regular holes through the middle. And then what you can do is just use a needle and thread to do like a running stitch one way, and then fill in the gaps with a running stitch the other way. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you can still make one of these books. Okay, so I've put my foot down, and then I'm just going to do a couple of backwards and forwards stitches to make that knot. And then just as slow or as quick as you like, so down the middle, that line that we created with the crease. As I get to the end, I'm going to do just a few backwards and forwards just to make that knot. Lift my needle, lift the foot, cut the thread. And I'm done with my sewing machine. So they're really quick to make. So what you can do is make up lots of books this size, sort of lots of books before you sew them, and then just sew. So really great one if you've got lots of presents to make, or maybe sort of wedding favours, that sort of thing. Nice one to do. You can do quite a lot at the same time. Remove the bulldog clips. And fold that on the crease, and you'll notice that not all the papers then lay flat. So what you just need to do is just trim either with a craft knife, a guillotine. Sorry, I don't mean flat. Some of the papers do stick out just because we've folded, and depending on how many papers you use, if you use a lot of paper like in this little one, then there's going to be more trimming. But this one's actually not too bad because I haven't used that many papers, and I don't mind about that. So I'm not going to trim this one, but if you find that the papers are all out of line, then you can just trim them off, or you can just leave them. It's entirely up to you. So that is our memory journal all made up with lots of our memory paper connecting all the way through. And so it's time to add our memories. And I'm just going to show you an example with this one. So just earlier this month, I went to Florence on a trip. And so this memory journal is about my trip to Florence. So I've got in here a sort of a quick little sketch. I've got a bus ticket where we took a ride up to sort of a high point to look over Florence. And you can either stick these in or use these really nice little sort of picture corners. If you've got, you can put napkins in here, and all the way through you've got this memory paper connecting all of them. This one's made from parts of the napkin that's actually from here, which when I had the most amazing chocolate gelato, and the shop was full of chocolates and bright colours and golds and turquoise and pinks and blues. So I've added these ribbons just to symbolise all those different colours. And I've got a bag with me that's full of various bits that I picked up from Florence. Things, as I said last week, that are totally insignificant to you, but they mean a lot, totally insignificant to other people, but they mean a lot to you. They pinpoint you to a time and a place where you were maybe having an ice cream, maybe you had a nice lunch, maybe you visited some amazing places over the summer. So that is what I'll be doing this afternoon. I'll be continuing with my journal, adding bits to yours. So what are you up to this summer? Has that given you some ideas of the places that you'll be visiting, where you can pick up those little memory souvenirs, things that mean so much to you? Make up your own handmade paper, turn it into a memory journal, and stick all of those so that you've got that forever. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the summer until we meet again. I'll be with you back in August with more crafty ideas. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.